Ladies and gentlemen, today's video is going to be extremely exciting, extremely hype. Please match my level of energy. If you can't, then allow my energy to make your day a little bit brighter. The Gotham Knights are the Pro Chess League champions, 2023. A perfect season, 6 wins, 0 losses, $25,000 wrapped up. We had an incredible run, and I will be sharing with you some of our highlights in today's video. Before we do that, just a couple of very, very quick things. Number one, every time the Gotham Knights win something, we celebrate. So all courses are 50% off just for today, and a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of tomorrow, 50% off all courses. And we'll be doing a massive giveaway. So if you just make a free account, 2 clicks, sign up, you might win a free course, 100% free. One more thing, we have merch. So if you want to support like the winningest team in history, support us. Check out the merch. All this will be in the description. Also, there will be a link to our article of victory. Yeah, just an absolutely incredible journey. And I will feature highlights of all the players, and it'll go great. You got about a day to celebrate with 50% off sale. You got some merch if you'd like to check it out. The Pro Chess League is a 4-on-4 team style format. Your average rating has to be below something, and every team has to have a female player. This was unbelievable. I'm going to show you 4 games. I'm going to feature a game of each player. Really, I'm lost for words for how incredibly proud I am of this team. We fielded a roster of 10 players. I think 9 players played. One of our players wasn't able to play. She was winning tournaments in Europe. We fielded a lineup in the playoffs of Hikaru Nakamura, Vladimir Fedoseev, Shamseev, who's a very strong grandmaster from Uzbekistan, a member of the gold medal team, and a WIM from Kazakhstan who's just 15, 16 years old. And her name is not Alo Normanson. I think that's like an anime name. Her name is Alua Nurmanova. She's a 2600 blitz player on chess.com. And in this game, she beat the women's world champion, the champion of the world in women's chess, Zhu Wenjun from China. So let's start with this. Then we will look at Shamseev's game. Then we will look at a game played by Big Fish, and then we will look at Hikaru. So this is 10-minute rapid format. Nurmanova plays the King's Indian. Everybody knows she plays the King's Indian. She plays the King's Indian all the time. And Zhu Wenjun played in a way where she traded the pieces, and she was going to grind down her young opponent in an endgame. She was going to play bishop g5. She was going to bring her rooks. She was going to utilize this diagonal, and that's exactly what she did. She played bishop g5. Alua played the move rook d7. This is theory, by the way. Rook d7 might look very, very, very dumb because you're blocking your bishop, but it's actually a completely reasonable move. The women's world champ started instigating on the queen side with knight a4, knight c5. Black played rook d4. Now, here for reasons I cannot fully comprehend, Zhu Wenjun did not defend her pawn. I really, truly do not know what was wrong with the move rook c1. I don't know. Also, it's very interesting that when I make a move, she loses 9 minutes on the clock. I guess that's like chess.com's way of saying that this, move is analysis. Instead, she did this. And the idea is quite clear, obviously. Rook c4, rook d8 check, back rank problems, and you lose. But Zhu Wenjun went on to just lose this pawn anyway. So after knight to e4, she chose a line where she doesn't guard the pawn. And Alua is the type of player, like, she's lower rated. So because she's lower rated, and she's on the team, obviously, so the average rating balances out, but she's underrated. Because she's low rated, people take more risk against her. Because, if you're like 1400 and you're playing a 700, it's not the same gap, but what I'm saying is, when you play somebody lower rated than you by 400 points, you're like, well, I'm going to win. It's just a matter of time, right? So her opponents very frequently, allow her to get very commanding positions. And actually, at some point in this game, she was completely winning. She was already completely winning. And throughout her run, she only played Grandmasters. And she drew a couple of 2600 in the playoffs. She drew Bhaskaran Adiban from India. She drew Benjamin Bach. Like, she was drawing some very good players. And in this game, all of a sudden, she was up 2 pawns. She's just up 2 pawns. She has 7 pawns. Zhu Wenjun has 5. What does Ju Wenjun have going for her? Number one, world champion bonus. When you're the world champ, you just feel like an alpha, right? Number two, very annoying queenside pressure. Now here, Alua plays e4, sealing out the bishop and opening up her own. White plays rook b1 and sets a little bit of a trap here with this nice idea, knight to d2, and now this rook is dead. All right, the rook is gonna die. However, the rook might be able to escape by sacrificing for a piece. Now, if you're gonna sack for anything, you should sack for the bishop, because at least that pawn is a target, and at least your knight can come to d3, and life is not so bad. But then she played bishop d4, and she managed to use the e-pawn to break out. So now, if rook takes d4, there is this, and if you play f takes c3, which obviously looks like a very natural move, whoopsies, and you don't have time to trap my rook. Look, if rook c4, there's even this incredible move. A triple fork of the king and both rooks. I mean, it's insane, right? So Ju Wenjun plays rook d4, and Alua Nurmanova is up 2 pawns against the women's world champ. Not only is she up 2 pawns, she is able to use her b-pawn, play rook a5 so that her bishop can be taken, and when the bishops are traded, she puts the rook behind the pawn, she brings the king, boots the rook, and that is GG. Alua Nurmanova, 2,100 FIDE. 2,200 on chess.com. 2,100 FIDE. She was over 2,200. Takes down the number 2 player on the Shanghai Tigers, which is Ju Wenjun. Our board 4 takes down the women's world champ. I mean, this is sensational stuff. While that has been happening, in a different match, I'm taking you through all the playoff matches. We had a match against India. We also played St. Louis, by the way. St. Louis Archbishops. That was our closest match. Shamseev Vokhidov, a.k.a. Shield 12, has an uncanny ability to get himself into a position of total chaos. He was playing the board number 1 of MGD1, which is another team we played in the playoffs, and the position that they had out of the opening looks something out of a sci-fi movie. What is happening here? Why are these pawns scattered all over the board and the bishop? And Arjun Erigaisi played a brilliant idea, which is c5, and just absolutely wrecked Black's position. Look at the position. It's move 19. Shamseev has pieces on the back rank, and he only has 3 minutes on the clock. But he is such a creative defender. Rook a2 hitting the bishop, but here comes the queen. Hits the knight, hits the rook, hits the pawn, which hits the rook, and queen a4 check. He just moves his king. He's not castling. 2 minutes remaining on the clock for Shamseev against the board number 1 of the Indian team. This is ridiculous. By the way, did I mention that you could get the courses for 50% off? Hello? Knight e4, rook to b8, king g7, and I pulled up to this game right around this moment. Look at this move. This man Shamseev is dead lost. Rook is hitting the queen. Queen's got to go to the center. Then knight d3 is a fork, so the queen can't go to the center. So the queen has to go to a8. Then you play rook b2 and queen d4 check. This man Shamseev Vokhidov, rook d5 plays rook b4. That is such a ridiculous move. If you take his queen, he takes your queen. You take his rook, he takes your rook, and suddenly he's better. Rook b4 is a ridiculous move to play it with 1 minute on the clock, and all of a sudden, the position is utter chaos. Make no mistake, Erigaisi is still better. Queen takes g4 check, queen g5, look at this. Queen g5, and Black against all odds. But here comes f4. It's a fork, but he just gets out of the way in time and covers up his king. Bishop e7. Look at what he does. Look at... What? What is even going on? How is Shamseev surviving with 6 seconds on the clock? We have our board 4 beating the women's world champ. In a different matchup, we have Shamseev creating a Tetris piece of chess pieces. Knight d6 check, king f8, knight e4, knight e4 back, king e8. Our Erigaisi is looking for a way through. Right here, knight e4 is winning if he brings... Oh, apologies. You have to play knight a4, knight c5. That is the winning idea. The winning idea after bringing your king to the center like this for white is to play knight a4. And bishop takes a4 looks like a free knight. And then g4. And the point is that if the queen takes on g4, rook d8, bishop d8, and you have knight d6 and queen f7 mate. The queen is no longer defending that square. So you have to play knight a4, gambit this, and play g, and that's just not findable with 30 seconds on the clock. And Erigaisi, all of a sudden, is back to an equal endgame. And I got news for you. It gets even worse than that, because what Shamseev has is a bishop versus a knight and a passed pawn. A bishop versus a knight is already advantageous in the endgame because the bishop is a long-range piece. But having an outside passed pawn when you have a bishop versus a knight in the endgame is also advantageous because the knight is going to struggle tremendously to stop the outside passed pawn. So Shamseev has the benefit of the doubt. He can trade the queens basically at any moment. And we have a monster game where the pawn walks down to a3. And against all odds, it is Shamseev Vokhidov stopping White's pawns and winning this game. This man, let me tell you something right now. This man had zero business winning this chess game. Zero. Bro, look at his position after 20 moves. He got no development. He got 2 minutes on the clock, but he found clutch moves like rook b. I mean, what? Rook b4 is a move sent down to the human realm by the chess gods. Rook b4, he should make an NFT of that move. And it will either sell for $200,000 to some random people you've never heard of, or it will be worthless. But that's just, you know, NFTs in a nutshell. Rook b4 is ridiculous. And I mean, and he ends up winning the game. He wins the game because White cannot stop his pawn. Shield 12, aka Shamseev Vokhidov, aka the board 3 for the New York Knights, Gotham Knights, New York Knights, was ridiculous. Now, the MVP of the team, the man who won the MVP award in the entire season and won another $5,000, Vladimir Fedoseev. Frequent battler of Hikaru, plays blitz all the time. I have a horrible record against him. My record against Big Fish is 2.5 wins and 21.5 losses. I am 2-21 against him. The fact that I've even beat him twice should go on a statue. And he's playing the board one of the team from China, Shanghai. This is Wei Yi. Wei Yi's like a top 30 player in the world. Big Fish in this game, and just throughout the Pro Chess League, played perfect matches. Like, he won 3-0. He was our board 2, and he won all his games. Now, there was this game where Wei Yi very clearly is trying to launch an attack at his opponent. And Fedoseev is standing there with the black pieces like, do your worst. Come on. Fire away. Let's go. You play g4. I'm going to chop the knight. I'm also going to strike at the center. What are you going to do? Right? So Wei Yi plays king h1. Now, you'll notice... Whoa, what the heck was that? Why did the board refresh? The move king h1 was played with 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock. And Fedoseev just... c5. Principled move. c5. Now, here comes Wei Yi. Watch how Fedoseev ducks under the punches, manages the distance, and lands absolutely brutal counter punches to win this game. Bishop d7 back is a ridiculous move, right? Excuse me. I meant to say not a ridiculous move. I just forgot a word. This is a very natural move. It's not a ridiculous move. White takes on d5. Now watch as Fedoseev takes advantage of one inaccuracy and absolutely obliterates the white position. He takes this knight, then he takes that knight, and he plays bishop c6. He offers a queen trade, freezing the white attack completely in its tracks, and here comes the avalanche of rooks. And I got news for you. I'm not only taking this pawn, it's impossible to protect this one, so I'm going to get that one too. If you try to defend this pawn, you know what I'm going to do? Get in here with my rook. c4. You now cannot move these two pawns. This is called a queenside majority. I have 3 pawns versus 2. Not only that, I'm going to get my rook to your second rank, which is very dangerous in endgames. By the way, endgames masterclass coming to Chess League. You excited about that? I'm currently working on a course, 50 endgames masterclass, which will teach you about rook endgames, minor piece endgames, pawn endgames, queen endgames. Rook d2, rook c5, and the game ends as Wei Yi tries to fight back. And a beautiful little tactical sequence. Sometimes endgames are decided by c3, c2. Sometimes they're decided by very flashy tactics. C takes b3. If you take the pawn, I take your rook. So obviously you do this, because if this, you just come back. No. If c takes b3, rook c5. First, check. ba, queen. C takes b3. Wei Yi resigned. Fedoseev played this game at a 98% accuracy. That's crazy. You can't ask for much more. I mean, you really can't ask. You can't ask for much more. And he didn't do too much. Look at what Fedoseev did. He just played solidly. He waited for his opponent to attack, and his opponent overextended and immediately got punished for it. Swiftly. Fedoseev, MVP of the entire Pro Chess League. We'll take it. We will take it. $5,000 for that prize. But you know who the anchor of the team is? You know who you trot out onto the court, onto the football pitch, into the hockey arena? We have the McDavid, all right? We have the Haaland. We have the LeBron James on the team. Hikaru. It must feel really good to look at your lineup and to see Hikaru, because this man is a defensive genius. He almost never loses. Literally. And sometimes when he wins against some of the best players in the world, he makes it look effortless. He had a game, his first round, against Harika Dronovali. She is the board 4. The last player on a team is a grandmaster. That team is stacked. MGD1, their board 4 is like a top 10 female player in the world. She's a grandmaster. Hikaru plays an Alyoshin's defense, an offbeat opening, and plays, they play a little bit of a sideline. White, takes this big center, but what is White not playing on? The light square. So Hikaru plays h5. And his idea is to play bishop out, and knight c6, and e6, and life is good. His opponent doesn't stick to natural development, doesn't play bishop d3, doesn't play bishop e2, instead tries to instigate with him a little bit with the move knight h4. Tries to say, I don't think your bishop is very comfortable. Because, for example, e6 here is possible, but then this, White gets 2 bishops. So what does Hikaru do? Plays bishop g4. His opponent goes here. And now look at this sneaky little move. e6 now. So that the knight is hit. Hi! And now, White probably has to bring the knight back. Hikaru immediately changes plans. Normally, you want to put the knight there. Here comes c5. Hikaru is playing an advanced French with a bishop out. It's like an OP Caro Kann. The French defense features the following pawn structure. But look at who you sacrifice to get there. The bishop. The advanced Caro Kann with c5 features this. What do you sacrifice to get there? A pawn and 2 tempi, because you move this pawn twice. Hikaru has it all. This man has the position he wants, and the bishop is out. And his opponent is a grandmaster. She's better than every single person watching this video right now, unless Hikaru is watching this video. But she is better than every one of you. If y'all live 4 lifetimes and combine your elos, you wouldn't get to her elo. No disrespect. Knight c6, and look at what he chops the knight. And the second the bishop takes its eye off of this square, here he comes. He chops the center. If his opponent plays bishop takes d4 in this position, the knight takes the pawn, the queen can't protect the bishop anymore. Because if the queen tries to come here, the whole position falls apart. You just get butchered. So she goes here to try to win the pawn back. Hikaru doesn't let her win the pawn back. He just goes, he does this. That pawn's just not going. Look at this. The pawn is just hanging out in college now with parents supporting it from far away. That pawn is never, ever, ever going to be recaptured. And then it goes from bad to worse. As in this position, Hikaru plays the absolutely, oh my God, this is such a high level move. G5! The point is, you sacrifice the safety potentially of the king in the future because the king is actually safe in the center. You need to pull apart the defense. If you don't, first of all, you're threatening to trap the bishop. If White plays the move G3, here comes H4. You're knocking on the door. You're going to blast all that open. So White has to do this, but now loses the center pawn. And Hikaru enters the endgame. Up a pawn. And here he plays an unbelievably high-level move. What is the best move for Black in this position? The way to answer this question is to think, What does white want? What does black want? Black might want to win this pawn, and white wants to play h4 to have any stability. So black's best move is not to move the knight, not to move the pawn, not to move the bishop, nothing. h4. Played by Hikaru in 0.9 seconds. He found that move in less than 1 second of thought. He knew it was the best move. Rook g8. And now he's just up 2 pawns. Now you might ask yourself, what about rook e3? That does look like a good move. Nope. You're gonna lose everything. You're gonna lose everything. And Hikaru up multiple pawns, walks his king out of danger. His opponent does do a nice job fighting back, but she is down not just a pawn, she is down 2 connected passers, 3 pawns that are connected, but these pawns are walking down the board, and now there are 3 of them, and unfortunately, you are just not going to stop these 3 pawns. There is absolutely nothing you can do. Hikaru brings his king forward, the rook infiltrates, f4, and that's it. He ends the game up just 2 pawns, but they are flying down the board. And Hikaru in matches, like he had a match against St. Louis, he made 4 draws, but the team picked him up. And every match, he was incredible. He got the 2nd MVP award. We had the 1st and 2nd place MVPs of the entire season on our team. Fedoseev got 1st place as the most valuable player in the Pro Chess League. Hikaru got 2nd. Losing just 2 games out of like 20-something. You could even argue they were flukes. But the Gotham Knights are the undefeated champions of the Pro Chess League. And I wanted to talk here for a few minutes about how we put the team together. Obviously, we built the team around Hikaru. But the Pro Chess League has certain things that are like, if a player is over 2,700, they count as a 2,700. If a female player is over 2,350, they count as a 2350. So if you have a 2500 level grandmaster and she just so happens to be female, then her rating counts as 2350. Now you might argue, well, that's a weird one. They did that to incentivize the best players in the world to compete, like Ju Wenjun. They did that to incentivize players like that. I don't know. They could maybe change that in the future. We have a manager on our team, Alex Ostrovsky, a good friend of mine, and he we searched every single rating chart on FIDE. He searched, and we talked about it. And we found Alua Nurmanova. Our board 4, Alua, played in the World Cadet Championship in 2019 in Weifeng, China. I was there. I was coaching a player on the American team who ended up getting the bronze. Alua got silver. And we found her. She's from Kazakhstan, lives in Kazakhstan, doesn't play a huge amount of tournaments, but she's 2600 blitz. She's a speed chess specialist. Same thing with Shamseev and Vokhidov, blitz and rapid specialist. Same thing with Vladimir Fedoseev. His classical rating isn't as high as some of the other players in the league, but he's a 2750 rapid player. He is ridiculously strong. Our team was put together so that our average rating was 2,549.75. And the cap is 2550. We were 0.25 points under the cap. Best manager, best captain, best players, Gotham Knights, Pro Chess League 2023 champions. Go get a course that's 50% off. If you don't want to buy anything, just make an account. There's a chance you'll win a free course because we're going to do a giveaway. If you have an account already, if you win, you will be notified. I'll see you in the next video. Get out of here.